Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Popcorn for Dinner podcast. And I am pleased to announce it is time for war. And I am joined by my favorite generals, Chiagoziev and Osagale. And we will be discussing Invincible Season 4, Episode 4, and Episode 5. We'll discuss them together and do a little bit on 4 and a little bit on 5. And then we'll talk about where the show is headed. Guys, how are you feeling? How do you feel about the first 3 episodes? And how did you feel about episode 4?
Yeah, cooking, man. I can't lie. I did not expect the transition from episode 3 to episode 4. I thought they were like going straight up, like continue with the story. But I like the fact that they took this little segue because in the last pod, I literally spoke about this exact storyline and what they were going to do with this. So like I was excited to see how it played out.
Yeah, I've been having a swell time.
Okay.
It was so funny because, at the end of episode 3, we were like, the mummies and the demons might be a bit or whatever. And then, we just saw our, what's it called, misogynistic mummy pop up. And then the demons, we met, hot girl Volcanica, Per.
Yes.
So, yeah, I've been having a swell time.
It's been great. And the reception to the season so far seems to be amazing. And I also feel like, just to socialize anyone who's here for the first time, we're discussing Invincible. We have an episode on the first 3 episodes of this season. And we also have episodes coming out for the rest of the season and also on The Boys. There's a lot of other fun stuff on the Popcorn for Dinner feed. So please check it out. And if you're listening for the first time, like, rate, review, comments, feedback is always welcome. But I think I echo the sentiment with you guys, right? Like, I totally did not expect episode 4 to go where it did. And initially, it kind of shocked me, right? Because I was like, do we really need to spend... I was looking at my watch and I was like, are we really spending all of this episode in hell? God forgive me, sorry. The Nigerian in me dies hard. I was just sorry. We're going to repeat very hellish things for the rest of the recording. But it turned out to be a really good episode for a lot of reasons. One, there was the continued exploration of Mark and his psyche. There was us building or expanding the world of Invincible, right? They've gone to hell now. We've met 2 new villains, right? If you can call Satan a villain, and Volcanica. And at the end, we got a huge propellant of the story forward. So all in all, a really good episode. But I did want to get your thoughts, because, for example, on how you think the show is handling all these multiple little storylines. Because I know it can get frustrating for people when you have the main story being driven and then you take a little detour to spend some time with Mountainhead or some time with Volcanica, some time with, what's it called? The Liu something, the dragon guy, right? So how does that make you feel? Do you get frustrated?
To be honest, I didn't really mind. They introduced Volcanica the baddie, so that was enough for me. And then I think all their stories are going to link together somehow.
Okay.
With Mark probably going into space pretty soon. Having some characters on Earth or in hell to spice up what the Guardians of the Galaxy, or is that what they're called here?
The Guardians of the Globe.
Yes. Guardians
of the Globe. Sorry. To spice up what they're doing. Yeah, I didn't really mind. I think it also adds it. We got to see like another angle to Mark. And, I also want to issue a formal apology to Mark Grayson, because I said last episode that you were optimizing at 70%. I'm so sorry. I was a fool. Yes. He has indeed been in the lab. So, yeah. And I also love the Gen Zs, because he really said, I'm having a mental breakdown right now. A mentee B, I cannot help you, to Dark Blood. And Dark Blood said, please.
But Dark Blood
get in the
insisted.
lab.
What do you do when you're transported to hell? You're pretty much like, there's nothing to do but to help him.
So, yeah. No, it was funny. I didn't mind it. There was some comedic... It gave us the comedic we needed before episode 5. So
The
I'm
end of
very
episode
grateful.
4 and 5. Fair enough.
I'm grateful for that.
Yeah, I mean, I love his side quest, bro. Especially in the show, right? Because it's like the writers get to flex their world building, and it comes with a lot of lore, right? Like one thing I found really interesting is about how they spoke about the current surface dwellers. Like current Earth is in their sixth age, right? And they spoke about what was happening in different ages, and they're like, we don't talk about the third age. So I'm like, I wonder if that's something that we're going to come back to at some point. And it's crazy, right? Because they were like that the monsters on Earth, like the behemoths and stuff, they are remnants of the
Of the
second
past
age.
age. Yeah.
And they're not even as strong as the ones from the first age. So the humans are lucky that those are even the ones that are left. And it's like, bro, these monsters be whooping Earth's ass. Like, so it's like, bro, shout out to the demons for you. They were doing a job. Like,
Bro, and I think, ironically enough, right? Like, just as you guys have said, it might initially feel like, oh God, we have to do this basically filler episode here. But it kind of tracks with the theme of the season so far, that everything isn't black or white. Like, villains aren't eternally villains, and like good guys are eternally good guys. Because you go into this scenario and then you find out that Satan is not so much a terrible guy. And even the demons who are torturing some other like creatures are not the bad guys. They're actually saving Earth from something worse. So it actually tracks with the theme of the season so far, that as a hero, there is gray area in how you operate. So I really, really appreciated the episode. On that point about filler, I also think people's frustrations kind of come up where you feel like, guys, come on, we're only getting 8 episodes every 2 years effectively. So it's very frustrating to spend maybe 40 minutes or an hour on something that's effectively a side quest. But I do think that all of these side quests come together either in the way that you've suggested, that, the Earth heroes now have to deal with these. Because, for example, Rudy is with the Flaxons. Rudy and Mustard are with the Flaxons. We're going to be with their storyline, see something interesting happening there. Like you guys said, maybe the hell demons become Atom Eve's problem while Mark is away. We need the characters we care about to be doing things that are interesting. We don't want, they're obviously looking like they will be split up this season and in future seasons. Mark in space, Eve here, and Robot doing his own thing. And we get to almost see how Mark could come back from this Viltrumite war a completely changed person, right? The Eve he meets will not be the one he left. Robot could come back from the Flaxen dimension different. Like, to me, it's exciting. Like you said, like the world is being expanded. It's interesting. But I understand the frustration where it feels like, okay, we just want to rush to get to the Viltrumites. We just want to see Thrag. We just want to see our favorite characters from the comics. And to those people, I tell them, just embrace the anime mindset, man. Sometimes you wait for a fight and then they give you like 6 fillers before the fight starts. So please. I really enjoyed episode 4, ironically enough. But yeah. So in episode 4, right, like something you said, Kozem, that really, should I say resonated, is when he said Mark has been in the lab. And something that's kind of proven in episode 4 and episode 5, which we'll get to, is Asegales and I's theory from last week, that Mark has the capability. He just doesn't have the mindset. And it's scary to think that Mark is now just, punching people to death and acting very quickly. Like you saw even with the tossing of the crown, all of that, he was treating this very much like a job that he's tired of. Mark is getting a little bit jaded of being a hero, right? Which, and sorry to draw the parallel, that means we should also give Nolan some credits. He spent 20 years on Earth saving people, being the hero. Wow. Wait, do we, because he was looking at me. Think about how frustrated Mark is right now with all these, where he's being pulled in so many different directions. I'm sure Nolan felt those same frustrations for years. But that's to show you how dedicated he was to his mission, that he never, showed it out loud. He never got tired of being the hero of everybody. The loving side of King Von. Oh, God. But
you're trying to garner sympathy for Nolan.
I'm not trying to garner sympathy. I'm just saying that, like we were saying, there's gray in everything. Nolan protected Earth for 20 years and he listened to the cries of people in every nook and cranny of Earth, right?
If you say so.
Okay. Speaking of Nolan, the end of the episode, right? Mark finishes with his task in hell, comes out, and to our shock, there is Nolan waiting for him as he's having a very nice conversation with his girlfriend, and as usual.
I think nice is a
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's a very strong word.
That's a strong word.
It's nicer than him keeping it to himself. Let me put it that way. Right.
Fair enough.
He's going through things, and she's obviously keeping something huge from him, which we'll get to. And Nolan turns up, right? And you haven't seen your dad for months, and the first thing he says to you is, "I'm sorry, but it's time for war." And I'm sorry to keep repeating this, but I feel like if Mark is tired, it's just one thing after another. And even when he goes to fly up to speak to Nolan, he's just like, Jesus Christ, man. Like, at this point, I don't even care anymore. Mark isn't even reacting to so much of the stuff that's happening or so much of the stuff that he's hearing. He's just like, I have no choice, I guess, but to do these things. It's my curse to do. But speaking of his girlfriend, which is Atom Eve, we found out that human protection doesn't work with Viltrumite swimmers.
I'm screaming.
So, how do you guys now feel after getting more context about her situation and after a conversation with William? How do you, what do you see that pregnancy storyline becoming? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts.
I think, first of all, obviously, my bad for all that shit I said, hey, but hey, it is what it is. I didn't know that, Viltrumite swimmers was that powerful, you feel me? I didn't know they were penetrating the bulletproof, but I should have known. That's on me. And it's so funny, I just wanted to draw a parallel between that and another comic book storyline, because I don't know if you guys ever read it, but there's a Spider-Man comic that MJ literally gets cancer from Peter's sperm being radioactive and dies.
Damn.
So that's literally what I thought of when this scene happened. But besides that, now is more of a it's even crazier because they were actually trying to be careful. They were actually doing what they were meant to do, and this shit still happened. So it's not it's more of a damn, this was not meant to happen. Eve clearly says that she's not even ready to have a baby,
have a child, yeah.
And even besides her not even being ready, this is not the motherfucking time. It's not the time.
Not at all.
Any way, shape, or form. But it's at this point, there's not really much she can do, because it's hey man, you know me, I'm a fan of, I'm pro-choice. I'm a fan of sending little niggas back to the Lord, you feel me? But hey, that's a Viltrumite baby, bro. I don't know if regular shit gonna work.
That is actually a very, very good point.
That's true.
That is a very good point. And so a feeling I had with these two episodes, right, both 4 and 5, is that this show is a lot more grown up than maybe I gave it credit for, because now I'm very intrigued to how they handle this pregnancy issue, because Eve was having a very real conversation with William saying, I'm not ready for a child, definitely not right now. Even some lines oh, I know I want children eventually. It felt like they were handling this like a real pregnancy story beat, and not just an inconvenience for Eve or something that just happens and she keeps from Mark, whatever. It feels like they're going to handle this with the care that it deserves.
Yes, I too would like to issue my very fervent apologies to Eve and Mark for thinking that they were dilly-dallying without the proper equipment in place.
Protection.
I'm extremely sorry once again, Mark Grayson. It's been tough for your girl watching these episodes, but yeah, it seems the only solution is abstinence, because where do we go from here? Yeah, at least she told William. I was surprised when he popped up, to be fair, but at least she's told someone. she told someone she's talked through with her very serious real issues, very serious conversations, also aggressively pro-choice. So I mean, when I saw him in my notes, I think I said, "Oh, she told William," and then "to the clinic!" exclamation mark. But that's just me. But like as she said, it's really not the time. So I don't really know how she's going to.
So this is problematic, right? And I don't want to I want to be careful with how I frame this. I don't know if Eve makes that decision without speaking to Mark. Not because I think it's necessary that she should, but because I just think with their dynamic, she would want to. And I don't trust that Mark is mature enough to be neutral if he finds out that something like that happened without his knowledge. That might be something that presents a challenge in their relationship if he finds out that she got rid of their child.
To be honest, I'm a bit conflicted now because for the fact that Mark had just told her that he's going when they were on the roof, he was like, "I'm going through it, but I think I'm getting better." And then she was about to tell him. I was like, "Oh, okay." So she's like, "This needs to get out regardless."
Yeah.
But after their whole Last Supper dinner with was that episode? I must
episode 5.
episode. Sorry.
Episode 5,
Okay, let me go back to 4. Or maybe I hold this thought for 5. I don't know. I'm confused now.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Yeah, after that, their Last Supper dinner, and the fact that she didn't tell him, and after seeing how episode 5 ended, I don't know if she's gonna find out. She might keep it as let me still have like a part of him. I mean, we don't know what ends up. We don't know how
interesting
Mark
because
ends up,
she does say to him, "Please don't die" at some point.
Yeah, so I feel like she's feeling very
conflicted.
Sentimental. Let me at least have a part of him because who knows if he's gonna come back to me.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm currently at. Yeah.
Very, very, very interesting point. I hadn't actually thought about that, but yeah, it does make sense that she would feel extra conflicted now that Mark is gone, right?
Yeah.
God. So there have been some discussions, right? That even if she doesn't tell Mark, and now she's told William, right? Who can she go to? Some people have said that she should speak to Debbie, right? And those people who have said she should speak to Debbie have also raised the point that Debbie has lost both her sons. And, Debbie might ask her very gently to keep the child.
To keep the child for what? So that she can raise it? You guys, motherhood is tough. Well, Debbie wants to be free. She has her hot boy Paul in the back.
So that is what I thought. I was like, is Debbie just going to be the surrogate mother for everybody?
Hello, she's done her part, please. She's tried. Let her be free.
Oh,
yeah, Debbie, that didn't occur to me at all.
Good woman TM, man. Debbie adopted Ollie very quickly and freely, and now they want to saddle her with a grandchild, so quickly. Debbie's still young at heart. Please leave Debbie alone.
The grandchild angle that might actually shake some things.
Yeah, I know. But I like I said, this show really, I wouldn't say it surprised me, but it made me feel like they're handling things or treating the show like a very grown-up show, even though it's superhero animation. So excited for where they take it. Also worried about the mental state of my people, right? Because Mark has always been a sufferer from day one, and Eve as well. This hero shit isn't easy. It's not been easy on both of them. So
yeah, I feel like we said in previous season, right? Invincible is probably, if not the most accurate reflection of what's being a teenage superhero would be like, right? Like it's actually a balanced perspective on like The Boys, which is more like very cynical and stuff.
Yeah.
And your point again about it being such a grown-up show, like I remember, just to go back, earlier in the episode when Mark is having the conversation with Damian Darkblood, and he's like, "Oh, so if there's hell, there's a heaven, right?" And Damian Darkblood is like that, as far as they know that there's no heaven. And Mark is kind of disappointed. And Damian Darkblood notices that Mark is disappointed. He's like, "Oh, that you seem disappointed, but think of it this way. Instead of like, thinking of doing good deeds and thinking that you make it to an imaginary heaven, right? It can give you the motivation to make it your heaven." And I was like, damn. That's
I
some
know
real shit.
it was very
Yeah.
profound. I did not
That was
expect
such
that
a
at all. I
that was a
really didn't
great
expect
line.
that from Darkblood himself, from the show. I was just like, okay, I guess we're going. And that is why, again, not to beat a dead horse. That's again why this episode was good, right? Because it shows you that even in the midst of all the darkness in Mark's life, there's still these little pockets of like hope, little pockets of inspiration. Like imagine going to hell and coming back out and being a little, you know, getting a little word of motivation instead of what you expect from going to hell. So, yeah.
Yeah, and to add on to that, episode 4, I think it was a very much needed comic relief, pressure release episode after seeing how 5 went. Because, for example, I too, right, you know, with their helmet, Darkblood's helmet, when
Yeah.
it was disappearing,
That shit was killing me.
I'm like, what's actually going on here? And for
Guys,
me,
Invincible is such a funny show. Like I
it's
forget,
so
and
funny.
sometimes the comedy is so good.
Bro, they are so
It's
funny.
actually so funny. Because Mark was asking, low-key Mark, if he wasn't a superhero, he could be a product designer. Because he was asking all the right questions. He was like, who thought of the design for this? What was the problem that this was the solution to? This is what I do in day to day now. I'm like, yeah. So I was, I really bonded with Mark in episode 4. I'm like, yeah, ask these questions because why is the helmet disappearing at every small thing? They're doing. I'm like, please. No, it was
Damn
funny.
it.
It was really
Damien
funny.
Darkblood, man. And obviously we have the little, nugget on Damien Darkblood storyline where he says there's something that the humans are doing that isn't making hell happy. So again, there's a lot more intrigue for this to go to, but I'll just go a little bit back to something we said originally where we love the subplots, we love the side quests, but if they could give us maybe a little more than 8 episodes a year, we'll be very grateful. You know that video where the guy's like, I have a Rolex, she busts it, dear, just a little bit. So if you give me like 6 more episodes a season, I'll be happy. But
No, but I didn't, like I said, Volcanica, she also had some bars. She was like,
yeah,
you're
she did,
kind
because
of forged in flame.
I was
And
intrigued by her
what did she
storyline because
say?
she is strong as fuck, bro. Like,
Bro,
she
My
is
kind
not.
is the flame.
bro,
I
she
said,
Yeah,
was
she was-
hello,
bro.
Mrs. Hot Girl.
She was
She was like,
washing
you
them.
guys
She
are-
was washing them niggas, bro. Like,
Yo, she
It was
really,
very
Mhm.
easy for her.
and that Satan waste man.
Oh
After
no,
they
that
went and
was
got
a
him
very
the helmets.
funny representation of Satan. I wonder
how
where
funny
it
is that, man?
ranks in terms of Satan representations in media, but I like that one. That was very, very fun.
The guy went from Mr. Splinter to like, I don't even know,
Bro, that was too funny, man.
steroided up Johnny Bravo or some shit. He
Still-
now didn't
Bro,
even do
Johnny
anything.
Bravo. That's a very good comp
Literally.
because the voice, everything.
Yeah, he now
Yeah.
didn't even
Even the
do
music.
anything with all that muscle
Bro.
that he put on.
Whoop,
That's why you
bro,
niggas need to hit the
whooping
gym
his
leg
ass
day.
for no, bro. Like, what was so funny was where Mark punches off Volcanica's head the first time, and Damien that block is like, I thought this would be harder. Like,
No, man. Mark is tired. You guys need to stop playing with my boy. But
Mhm.
sorry to even go back again, but Mark finally, has a very lovely conversation with Art. And like we said, a little inspiration, a little bit of brightness in
Yes.
Mark's life. And he gets his suit back. He has a bit of happiness. And what happens? Mr. Omni-Man comes with his foolish head to start telling him it is time for war. And I think that leads us nicely into how that episode ends and how
Mhm.
episode 5 starts. So
Sorry, actually, I
Yeah,
thought
go
of
for
one
it.
more thing. I'm so sorry. Episode 4. So episodes 1 to 3, I was like,
Mhm.
Mark needs to go to therapy. Mark needs to do.
Mhm.
As he was talking to Art, I was like, no, Gauze, you're a fool. Because who is he going to go and tell that he has killed people and he's feeling bad?
True.
I was just
True.
like, because at first I was like, Art has turned into a therapist. I was like, Mark, go and speak to a therapist. I was like, but wait, who can he actually speak to? So shout out to
Oh my
Art
God.
for
You just
being
blew an idea in my mind, man. Like, and this is something that somebody will appreciate one day. Someone makes a superhero TV show where someone's a therapist to superheroes. Like I'm sure that exists, right? Or so I'm thinking of Lucifer, but imagine being a therapist to superheroes and then you have to like help them through their issues and you're like one of the only 2 in town. I think that's an interesting concept. I really like that because you're the
You
only
make
one they
some
can talk
serious
to.
cash.
They can't
Yeah,
go
right.
to a regular
Let's
therapist.
let's copyright that.
Yeah, let's get
Let's
in the
copyright
writers'
that.
room.
Let's copyright that.
Netflix call us.
Yeah, but no, shout out to Art for speaking.
Art-
I think he spoke some life into Mark because Mark
He
was
did.
really in a
He did.
dark place. So shout out to him.
He did, and Art is someone who's also like suffered, right? Because I think Art was Nolan's closest friend.
For sure.
on Earth. Yeah,
For sure.
so
Yeah.
he's also someone who's maybe we forget about sometimes about the impact of things on him and how he's maybe viewed amongst other heroes.
Mhm.
I'm gonna ask you guys something, and it's only because I want to set myself up for something. Episode 5, right? It's a tough one because this episode. So I think this episode is one of the best episodes of Invincible.
This is my
For
favorite
sure.
Invincible
in my
episode.
opinion.
Yeah.
For sure. For
In
sure.
this season, in the entire show.
Yeah.
The reason why is because I thought the episode was already crazy enough, right? By like the halfway point.
Mhm.
To the point where I was happy with whatever they're doing because I was like, okay, thank God, something light. And then the something light ended up not being so light.
Not like that though.
So if you guys, God, I can't even ask you guys to describe the episode, but let me just tell you, one of my first 2 notes from the episode was Nolan, Nolan, Nolan. How many times did I call your name? So the amount of sins he commits in the first 30 minutes is actually insane. Because let's even list them out. 1, he comes to Earth, he doesn't even look for Oliver. In fact, he actively avoids it.
Avoids him, yeah.
Then he goes to Debbie, talking his apology, blah, 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 whatever.
Utter bullshit.
And then Oliver comes to the ship. And again, he doesn't even look at Oliver. I was like, this man is... in the terrible nigga Olympics, Nolan is winning.
Oh, for sure.
Jesus Christ.
Bro.
Okay, so
You
I'm not even
forgot
gonna
one thing. You forgot one thing.
what did he do?
When
What
he
did he
talks
do?
to Art and Art is clowning his costume, he tells
Yo.
Art that, yeah, bro, like, if I survive this, you can work on it. And Art is just like, bro, your account is closed, bro. I make costumes for
For
heroes.
heroes. I was...
Ha-
Yo. Who's
It's
the
like-
voice?
This one of, okay, so
Mark
actually I changed my
Hamill.
mind.
Thank you
The
for your
one word I'll
service.
use to describe Nolan is audacity. This guy
Yo,
just wanted
yeah.
to stroll
It's
back
delusional.
into Art.
No,
For me.
he is a madman, bro.
For me, it's delusional.
He's a
Like,
madman.
He just wanted to stroll
I
back
will
into
say
Debbie's
this,
life, stroll
I
back
will
to
say
the
this.
wardrobe. What?
I will say this, though.
Okay, let's
He
hear.
knows it's very likely that he's going to die during this
Okay.
war. So
Uh,
I can see why he would want to do all this. That doesn't make him any less crazy, but
Mhm.
I can understand where he's coming from because this is more than likely going to be his last chance ever to
Yeah.
even
To
be able
make
to
amends.
show any kind of remorse, right? So
Fair.
it's like that doesn't make it a good idea, but
Mhm.
fair enough, right? Like you have to try. Like it's one thing to be like, yeah, I've changed. It's another thing to actually actively try, no matter how painful or stupid it is.
Yes. And
Yeah.
that is something I'm going to go to where I actually felt Nolan's apology was great. 10 out of 10, no notes. His apology to Debbie. He hit
Yeah, no, for
all
sure.
the
He
points,
hit all the points.
everything. Except, so it falls apart when Debbie starts challenging him, but I think his apology initially was 10 out of 10. And that argument between both of them, I'll put it up against any argument in live action, movies,
For sure.
animation, whatever. That's a Marriage Story level argument.
For sure. And
Um,
the thing is, like, at the end of the day, when you do the kind of things Nolan has done, let's be for real, bro. Like, there is no redemption. Like, there is nothing you can say to make it better. Like, you just have to do what you can. And in that vein of things, like,
Yes.
yeah, like he did
And he
what
said it.
could. Yeah.
He's-
I have many thoughts. First of all,
Okay, let's
just to
hear.
take a step back, overall, this episode, it took me to the height of happiness and then drove me
Okay.
straight into the
Straight
pits
into
of hell.
hell, man. Straight
Yeah.
into hell, man.
So what was your
So-
happiness peak?
So my happiness peak was the beginning. First of all,
Okay.
all this when you guys talking about Nolan, he did a good apology. Please, he should shove his apology up his ass. Why was he was just saying some utter nonsense about how, because I think let me not. So I'm actually not even
Nah.
heated.
So,
For me,
so this is why I say Nolan is like number one in terrible nigga Olympics. When he dropped that, I thought was a mistake. I didn't know what I was doing. I
first of all,
I was like,
I hate that.
I hate niggas
I
so
hate
much.
that line because that's what they be doing.
I'm
And
like,
for
bro,
me,
bro, they've been using this format from time immemorial, bro.
please, like,
I was like,
give
oh,
us,
I see what game you're playing. He's cooking.
please. I said, give us something different. I'm so like, Debbie, come and take your baddie chain because the bars that she told Nolan, this can't be fixed. There's no way back. You extinguished families. I'm like, yes, Debbie, tell him. Tell
Bro,
him because it's like
when
it's
she
not
said
talking
fuck
to him.
you, that
When
was
she said,
hot.
fuck you, that was,
When
bro,
she
that
said,
was,
am I still your pet? I said, yes,
bro,
ask
I
him.
felt that, bro. I felt
Ask
that.
him.
I said, Debbie,
No.
I knew you would never disappoint me, bro.
Iconic. Come and get your baddie chain, Debbie.
I said, Debbie, I knew
Even
you
when
would never
she hit
disappoint
him
me.
and her knuckles were
her-
bleeding, and then Mark asked her what happened, and she says it was worth it. Don't worry.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, that was the beginning of my elevation into the heights of euphoria. I can't even explain because I feel like also with this whole cheating thing, those kind of bars, it's irritating. And for me, Mark, very adult, he was like, you're going to her not to, give her, not to, basically to make himself feel better. That's why Nolan went to went to Debbie to make himself feel better. And it's like, yes, Debbie is moving on. She's thriving. She's with Paul, who, I mean, I also side-eyed him maybe I just have bad intuition.
Paul
Paul Hive.
real nigga. You was
Paul
talking
Hive.
shit about real nigga.
I mean, I'm still seeing to see where he's going to end up. But yeah, like Debbie has moved on. She's healing, and he's now strolling in, giving this weak ass apology about whatever it is he was saying. I was just completely tuned him out. I'm like, this guy is not even saying anything sensible. And I'm very happy that Debbie actually like stood up for herself and stood 10 toes down. And she was like, no, you can't just come and
Nolan
be
tried
saying all
everything,
this.
though.
Literally tried everything.
He gave the usual, I didn't love her. Who? That one didn't work. He came with, I miss you. Who? He tried everything, man.
Please.
He was doing everything. And the thing is, like, I don't even know what he was trying to get. That's why when Debbie asked him, I was like, ooh. When she was like, what do you want out of this conversation?
Yeah,
like, why are you
like,
still
you've
going?
apologized. Why are you still here?
I said, I miss you. She said, you miss me, you.
No.
You must be mistaken, man.
When he was on the ship and he was getting his pasta and he was having a flashback to the pasta that him and Debbie had, and it was like the best parts. I was like, oh brother, please.
Wow. Your heart is cold.
Damn, you cold, my nigga.
Yeah.
But again, I think what the show is trying to emphasize is that like Nolan kind of slowly became more human, right? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Even though he was still tripping, it's like, hey, he cannot pretend that, because his whole thing was that he was trying to pretend that all these things had no impact on him, which was cap, like, which was big cap. And that's how he got to this point. Like, he was meant to be a soldier, like, just say he locked in mission, this and that, but he fell in love. He started doing human shit. Like, bro, wait till cause Viltrumite with pasta, bro. Which one is
I'm screaming?
Which one is all that? But and again, sorry, one more thing. And again, it's like, it's about how we like, back to the theme of like this show being grown up, bro. Like, this guy came after literally using his son's face to kill people, and he's talking about like, I want to fix this. Nigga, what? Can you bring those people back from the dead?
That is also the conflict that goes on in Nolan's head, the mental or psychological torture that's happening to him, because Viltrumite society is so different to what we think is normal. For example, when we watch episode 2, it really puts into context how Nolan beat up Mark in like the season finale of the first season, because in his head he's thinking, why are you not fighting back? Like, you are strong, fight. So it's normal it's relatively normal for them for father, mother to beat up the child to show him the real world. So, usual humans, they'll be like, okay, you as a 18, 19, 20-year-old, go to university, pay rents, live by yourself. The Viltrumites will beat you up to show you that shit isn't sweet. So when he tried to do that with Mark was too human. he realized like, okay, I can't be bringing those Viltrumite ideologies here. And Nolan has just been suffering mentally since then, trying to figure out which kind of person he's going to be. And I don't think he's going to have a happy ending because I don't think it's something that can actually be resolved. But we'll see.
Nah.
We'll see.
I like the happiest ending he can have is to die protecting Mark or Oliver or both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he really, really fucked up with Oliver. I'm so sorry. That part, I was so angry with him. He didn't even bother seeing the boy. And then the boy comes up to the spaceship
He
and he
was
can't
on
even
shit.
speak to
Let's
him
take
directly.
him back.
He was on
he's
some
just speaking.
shit.
It was so
Nah.
disrespectful. So disrespectful. Because
Talking about
to be fair,
taking back.
someone said that's how some people treat their outside babies. But to be fair, it's bloody crazy because, okay, sorry, you regret my mom. But Oliver is still here, bro. You can't treat him anyhow because of some rubbish. What was he even trying to achieve? Nolan
He
guy,
was
man.
he was saying that he was trying to protect Oliver from him. And Mark is
Nah,
like,
man.
bro, here you go again with this selfish bullshit. That
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
have
it
a
is.
second chance right now that you don't even
Mhm.
deserve. And this is
Exactly.
what you
It's
are doing.
true. It is true.
Also-
It is true.
When Oliver was like, I wasn't there for my other mom, so I'm going to save
Mhm.
this one, and you can't stop me.
God, this episode, man.
Ah,
I blew my
man.
chest.
This episode.
They're prepping us for some sad upcomings. I can feel it.
This episode
And-
not already sad enough. What are you talking about, man?
We've only done half of it, right?
That's
So-
true. That's true.
I don't want to do a synopsis, but basically, Ollie and Mark join up with Omni-Man in space. And before they join up Omni-Man, Demi says they want to do one last thing. They have a nice family dinner with Paul
Mhm.
and
The Last Supper.
Eve.
And Eve.
Exactly. And it was very nice seeing a nice family dinner compared to the one they had with Eve's family. And now they go to space and Omni-Man does his shouting, whatever. And it seems like the vibes are good. You know, everybody's enjoying space aside from Omni-Man. You know, Tech Jacket is there. Tech Jacket is cool. Really cool new character that we haven't touched on, but I really like the character of Tech Jacket. I like her friendship with Alan. And then shit goes wrong, right? We hear something goes into the hull of the ship and it looks like Viltrumites are here. Not one, not two, but three Viltrumites.
And not just any
And-
Viltrumite. Fucking conquest. Oh my god, bro.
Yes. And from that point on, okay, I'm just going to let Chagosian take us through what happens from there
Oh my god.
to
So,
the end.
oh my god. Okay, I don't want to cry. Let me actually lock in. Let me lock in. So the Alan's babe decides to ditch the ship,
The
basically.
damaged part of the ship.
The damaged
part of
bit.
the
So her and the crew, basically, of the, what is that ship called?
Venture.
I think, yeah, only her and the crew of the Venture, they survive. So then it's now Mark. First of all, Mark, think Ollie and, actually, I lie. Mark and Alan, they went back to go and find Ollie.
And Tech Jacket as well.
And Tech Jacket went back to go and find Ollie and Nolan
Omni-Man, yeah.
because they weren't where they were supposed to be. The ship is blown up. They're in space. Mark finds Ollie. They now see the Viltrumites. Mark sees Conquest. I'm sure it must have been straight PTSD
Bro.
because
Yes.
he's like, bro, why are you
I killed
here?
you.
He literally said, I killed you, bro. Like,
Yes.
And Conquest, nah, you didn't. They now start their battle. There were actually also some funny bars because there were different fights were going on. Different fights were just, everybody was doing blah, blah, blah. Ollie was ready to get in the lab. Conquest was trying to kill Ollie. When Mark was asking Conquest, am I gonna have another, he didn't say this, but
Heartfelt
like another
speech.
heart-to-heart, whatever thing. And
Yeah.
Conquest was like, I told
I
you
told you
that.
that in confidence.
Confidence. Can
No,
I just say I
laughed
love
and
I love that
cried.
Conquest is exactly like that. I love it. Like it's just such a nice juxtaposition with how he looks that he's
Mhm.
also super sensitive. I love it.
I laughed and I cried. Anyway, Conquest, he dealt some heavy blows to Ollie. Ollie was, bleeding. Mark was
Ollie
stepping
is
in to save.
too excited, man. I'm scared for that guy.
Yeah, I'm very scared. So, and there was a planet nearby. So, I think, was it Nolan? Somebody sent Ollie
Yeah,
to
Nolan
the planet
sent him
told
there.
Ollie to go and take
to
a
go
breath,
and breathe, right? And then throughout, Alan and Tech, You say her name is Tech Jacket.
Tech
Tech
jacket.
Jacket. Yeah.
Can we call her TJ? That Tech Jacket is so
TJ, I like TJ.
TJ is cool.
I like
that's
it.
a cute, or is her name Zoe? I think that's
Yeah,
her actual
her real
name.
name
Let's
is
call
Zoe.
her Zoe, I
Zoe.
beg.
Okay.
Alan and Zoe, they're also doing their own battle, whatever. So anyway, let's focus on Conquest. And then it was the black Viltrumite that was beating up Ollie. And I'm like,
Mhm.
that's a child. Anyway,
He called him a
Ollie-
bug. Racial slur.
yeah,
Man.
true. Ollie went to the planet to go and breathe because I guess they don't breathe in space, whatever. Conquest had been fighting with Invincible. He now followed Conquest now, I don't know, Punch Invincible, whatever. Conquest now followed Ollie to the planet. And I will say, you know that scene where Ollie had just gone to the planet and then he was like breathing,
Conquest
and
is
then
right behind him.
Conquest came up behind him.
Yeah.
That's like one of the scariest images I've seen. Like
It looks like it's pulled out exactly from
Yeah,
the
it's from the
comics.
comic,
And I
yeah.
love that.
so scary. I was like,
Bro, that's the fastest Mark has ever flown in his life, bro.
yeah. So I was gagged. And then so Omni-Man now, Mark chases after them.
Yeah, it's only Mark and Conquest at this point. Omni-Man
yeah,
is
it's
looking
only
for
Mark
them
and
in
Conquest,
space.
and then
Yeah.
Ollie is somewhere. So it's
Yeah.
Mark and Conquest. Mark holds Conquest to suffocate him. Conquest is beating, and at this point I was
The
like,
fuck
Mark,
out of Mark.
Bro.
I was like, Mark, I'm so sorry that I ever doubted you. Because for him to have been strangling
Bro.
Conquest and still taking those punches,
Bro.
I was
The
like,
sound
Do
design.
you
such a
understand?
fool.
Do you remember the meme I sent to the group chats?
Yeah. What?
Hate
when
drives
you're
me too much. Love will kill you, bro. Mark was like that, bro. Even if I die today, this guy
Yeah.
will die.
Mark
I
was
was-
being fueled by nothing but pure
Pure
hatred.
rage.
Pure hatred, bro.
And me, I was like such a fool. But I was sitting like this. I was just watching. Mark was taking, still strangling Conquest this entire time. Guy didn't let go.
Bro, even
There was not a point in
even Conquest couldn't believe it at some point.
Conquest
bro.
was, and then Conquest was slowly suffocating. Whatever. There's not a point when Conquest they had done some. Mark had flown him through some rubble, whatever. Still holding on to him. There's not the imagery in the scene. You know when they do that their hand thing and they're
Yeah.
about to just slice. I was like, yay, please.
Do you know the craziest thing before he did that? I was literally about to be like, why wouldn't he just like try and slice Mark? Like, why does he keep hitting him? Try something different. And then he did. But Mark said, sorry.
I said, no worry, brother. Now me and you
Yo,
today.
Mark said nothing less than one person is leaving Earth to. No, if I have to go with you, we'll go together.
We'll
but
go
you
together,
must
bro.
go.
But you are dying today.
Yo, Conquest now properly puts his hand straight through Mark. Mark is still there holding on. Conquest now starts to pull out Mark's intestines
It's
and
like,
organs.
bro,
Yeah.
that
That's
was some
when-
shit.
I literally felt like throwing up. And you know
The
me, I
sound
watch a lot
design
of...
was really good with the
That
punches,
was
with the
some
intestines coming out.
shit,
I was like,
bro.
they did well there. I
And
think
y'all know
So-
me. I watch a lot of horror and thriller. So for me to have been shook, and it was at that point in time I started crying. I was like, Mark,
you thought it was over.
I still think, I don't know. I guess it can't be over because he's still in the title sequence. But I was just like,
Bro, that's like that scene for me, right? Is like Invincible getting to that anime level of emotional, like
Yeah.
of, like you can feel everything. Like, bro, like Mark was like that, bro. I hate you, nigga. Let's die. Like, I hate you, bro.
yes. And I think
Real, man.
also,
Real.
I'll say a shout out to Steven Yeun for that voice acting because it was
you went crazy.
phenomenal. And I think
again,
what was... Sorry, just my
again
last
on the
thing. I
anime
think what was
points-
also triggering me, because you know
Yeah.
it's basically Negan and Glenn from The Walking Dead.
yeah,
Yeah,
yes.
I was like, bro, like when will they let Glenn live? What is going on? No, I was...
Again on the
I was
anime
triggered.
point, right? Something that this show does well, and like you can also make a comparison to anime, is that the voice acting isn't phoned in.
Bro,
like you actually
phenomenal,
feel like
bro.
these guys are living what they're acting. Like
Yep.
the whimpers from Mark, the groans, everything in that scene, just amazing. There were 3 things in this scene, right? So first one is kind of a rebuttal because I was speaking to someone who has also watched this episode, and I think this is a theory of mine. I don't know if it's true. I think Viltrumites get weaker when they don't breathe. So I feel like on Earth, on their planets, their punches, all of that, they hit harder, right? And then when they're in space, when they're not breathing, and obviously with Mark suffocating him, I think Conquest got weaker. Because the person's point was that like this doesn't feel like the same Conquest that Mark fought last season. So just to say this isn't, I don't think it's it's a writing convenience. I think they actually get weaker when they don't breathe. The second thing is I think this scene has potential to be really sad for completely different reasons to what you said. Because I think the way this scene played out and the fact that it's Conquest makes me think that this might be what snaps Mark. Because he might be like, even when I kill them, they're still coming back. So now I have to make sure. Because the ones that I pity, they come back. The ones that I even kill, they come back. Mind you, Mark doesn't even know how Conquest is here. He hasn't spoken to Cecil. He doesn't know how Conquest is here. So he must be thinking to himself, like, yo, I killed this guy. And so that's why he didn't even punch him. He said, I'm going to kill you the old-fashioned way,
Mark, bro. I must see the line. Leave your eyes.
Mark said a line that scared me. Mark said, you are never breathing again. And like you said, he wanted to watch him die. Because they always say, like, shooting someone, stabbing someone is like, being able to strangle somebody and watch them die. Mark has entered a different level of thingy. And the third and last thing, I'm just going to, before I take up too much airspace, is that it also backs up what we were saying last week, that Mark has the capability. He just doesn't have the mentality. And now it has shown that when Mark actually wants to kill, he is very, very able to. So, it's scary for what's going to happen for the rest of this.
Just to add to what you said, is like, bro, from when, like, that's normally, let's say that Mark he starts the fight at like 30 or 40%. Brother, when Mark saw Conquest, he started that fight at 110%. He finished the fight at 500. Bro, because it's like, first of all, not only is this, remember what Conquest said? He's like, I killed you, and Conquest is like, you didn't kill me. It was mostly your magical girlfriend.
Yes.
Then he said, I cannot wait to taste her blood. Bro, that guy, see, the thing about Conquest is that, like, bro, not only is he a physical demon, he's also mentally sick. Like, he wants you to be, like, aggravated. Like, bro, he wants you to come at him full force and try and kill him because he knows he's stronger than you. But that theory about, like, Viltrumites, like, being weaker when they can't breathe, it makes a lot of sense, right? Because, again, the virus that affected them came from the air. So it probably affected their, like, respiratory. That English almost killed me, but their breathing capacity and stuff. So that would make sense that they get weaker when they can't breathe, right?
Yeah.
And bro, Conquer is still getting weaker, bro. He was beating the shit out of Mark.
Bro.
He was beating the shit out of Mark, bro.
Because, like you said, at the start of the whole thing, when Mark grabbed his neck, Conquest thought, oh, this one is just like, he will release me. At some point, he got desperate. He started just zooming about the place.
Bro, he was like, yo, wait, though, this guy is not letting go. Like, what's happening right now? Bro, like, and again, the whole time, I'm just thinking that, like, because obviously it's Conquest. Conquest wants to have fun when he's fighting. That's why he's just punching Mark, because he's like, eventually Mark will let go, scrap this and that. But bro, his eyes are getting bloody, and bro, his face color is changing. And you can see it switching in his brain. Like, wait, though, this guy is not letting go. I need to do something. Then he stabs Mark, bro. And when he stabs Mark, I'm like, bro, I already knew what it was. I'm like, like, Mark is still not going to let go. This is it.
I actually thought someone was going to come save Mark at that point. I thought,
no, brother. This is not that kind of movie. I already got from the jump. When Mark said that, you will never breathe again.
Yeah.
I said, either both of these guys are dying or Conquest is dying. Like, there's no, this time, there's no, like, any this and that. All that headbutting and stuff, that stuff was cute. He said, no, this time I must watch you die. I must see the life leave your eyes. And it's like, bro, this guy is literally pulling Mark's inner organ out. Mark said, no way, bro. Until me, I mean, he's like, bro, this is it. He's like, this is it for me, bro. And it's like,
Yeah, Mark was happy to go as long as he took
bro,
conquest.
because it's like, Mark is like, bro, this is war, bro. This one guy being alive is so dangerous that, hey, if I gotta go, I gotta go. Hence, I hate you, nigga. Let's die. Like, let's do this right now, bro. Conquest is there pulling out these guys in us. Mark is like, bro, if you like, come out my heart. No, now here we did. Now here we did, bro. And it's like, bro, and just to like the reaction of Omni-Man and Oliver when they saw him just shows you how crazy that was. Because guy, it's not like these guys have not seen God before. That was some next level shit. Like, no, that was
I'm very
crazy
scared.
episode.
I really, really hope that the two ways that Mark has killed Conquest are the worst things Mark does for the rest of the show. Because the way he initially killed him was brutal enough, just like straight headbutting someone till their face is smashed. And then now he just, because don't get me wrong, I think because it's a show, right? And obviously they have time constraints, they couldn't show us everything. But I'm very sure that as a Viltrumite, Mark really held that guy's neck for a long time to get him down.
Yeah.
Right? Because they can hold their breath for really long. So, honestly, I feel like Mark is capable of extremely dark things. And I just hope this is the worst that it gets. Because I don't want to think about what the writers have in stock for him to do. If she, imagine, mind you, he doesn't even know Eve is pregnant.
I don't think this is the worst because
it's definitely not going to be the worst, bro. I can tell you that for
guy
free.
Is still around. Like,
I can
there's
tell
still
you that
some other
for free. Because guess what? Like, nobody, like, only Oliver was in danger this time. Like,
yes,
we've not seen what Mark is going to do if Eve, not even Eve, if pregnant Eve is in danger. Like, we've not seen what he's going to do if Nolan is about to die or if Debbie's in danger. Like, bro, like, there are so many things. And it's like, I'm glad that they're doing this now because, again, it makes the stakes feel realer. Like, obviously, the stakes have never been low. But now it's like, hey, bro, this is the main character of this show, but he almost died. Like, hey, there's a lot going on, bro. Like there's a lot happening. And I think it's also a wake-up call for Oliver as well because it's like, he's a teenager, he's excited, but bro, this is war. This is war.
I'm worried. I was very worried when Conquest grabbed Oliver's head. I thought,
bro, he was
surely not this quick.
It's
because I knew he wasn't going to die this time for sure.
No, I think the only reason Oliver is alive is because Conquest likes to play with his food before he actually. Yeah, because
I was very worried, very, very worried, because it would. I don't want to say it would track, but the fact that Omni-Man ignored him the whole episode, blah blah blah, it would have been a very, very sad death if Ollie went at that point. But I'm curious. That thing you said about stakes is interesting though, because I have a semi-unpopular opinion.
What was that?
The Viltrumites need to start killing people. I don't know if they start with Omni-Man. I don't know if they start with Ollie. I don't know if they start with Tech Jackets. People need to start dying because we're at the point where we get it. They're strong, but I need to start seeing. Hey, wait! I sound like something that I'm not. I don't want to see it, but I think for the good of this story, the Viltrumites need to start being more scary than, oh, they're strong and they can beat Mark up. I want to see heads chopped off. I want to see people lose to them properly, right? So
I get that sentiment, right? But again, that's kind of goes against their main goal of self-preservation, right? Like, the main reason they are not killing Mark, Oliver, and all these guys is because they literally are only 50 left.
But I think at this point, they don't care. They think these guys need to go because
you're forgetting that, like, obviously, like, Conquest is a different level from the rest of the Viltrumites they've been sending, but bro, there are still guys stronger than Conquest. So it's now a thing of like, like, these guys are a threat, but like, they can't still step to the bosses. So they're going to keep sending this cannon fodder. And again, it's like, to be fair, how many
Cannot afford that.
Viltrumites have Mark and Omni-Man and all these guys killed? They've not killed that many.
Like
They've
2,
killed like
3.
2 or 3. So if you
Yeah.
really think about it, how much damage are they actually doing? Like, do you get? So from
But
that
that's what I'm saying. I think,
perspective,
I think the Viltrumites need to start. It's not because like they've lost. I think they just need to start killing people. So we actually start feeling. So maybe they will introduce characters for them to kill, and they won't kill Ollie or Omni-Man or Mark himself.
Do you mean killing superheroes?
I think Omni-Man.
Yes.
I think one of Omni-Man or Oliver might die. For me, I feel like Omni-Man is going to die.
Omni-Man to
Like,
Yeah,
finish
he's
up
not
his
making it to
redemption
the end.
arc.
because
He's doomed.
he already, like, they were going to kill him.
Yeah.
They were already going to kill him. So, like, for me, I think they are killing him regardless, right? But in terms of Mark and Oliver, like, obviously, like, their storylines have a lot more to, like, flesh out and things like that. But again, I don't think the Viltrumites, like, we know the stakes, right? Like, we know that these guys can kill when they want. I don't think we need to see it, right? Like, the whole point of this thing is to show how dangerous these guys are. And again, it's showing now they're holding back because, again, they're not trying to clean, they're not trying to kill all their, what do you call it? They're not trying to kill the remaining Viltrumites and stuff. So I get what you're saying, but I also understand why it's not happening.
Fair. Jeez, man. Yeah. When that episode finished, especially with Mark on top of Conquest, I literally was just like, I finished and obviously credits, and I was just like, wow.
That's when I was in the pits of hell. I was crying. It was such a terrible time.
That was deep. Did you see even Mark's face as well, man? God.
And his fingers, no, that was terrible. I had to go and watch Abbott Elementary after to try and relax.
Don't kill me.
I was just like, what the hell is going on?
Okay. Where do they go from here? Because they're in a random planet, which we don't actually know what the makeup of the planet is. Mark is dying for all intents and purposes. He doesn't even have a cut or an injury. His insides are outside. I don't know if Nolan learned how to perform surgery in his 1,000 years of life, but something needs to be done. So I'm actually very. I wonder what next episode is going to be. How
there's
they're
no
going
means
to
of transportation. How are they going to transport that body?
Oh shit!
That carcass, if you will.
If he is indeed dead, maybe they can now. Actually, yeah, he's gone. He's gone. Inshallah.
To be honest,
I think
is this Conquest?
Yeah, Conquest.
Me, when I watched it, I was like, did he pass out? I'm like, they need to
he's gone.
Disintegrate him, please.
I think he's dead, man. I think he's dead. I still think they should, incinerate his body just to be sure.
Just in case.
Yeah.
But I think he's dead.
But I wonder what's going to happen with Mark. One thing we didn't touch about is that, like, now the war is in full steam, basically, right? Or like they've stopped them. Who do we think the mole is, right? And I tried to think about this yesterday, but there's not many people that it can be, because I don't think it's Alan, right? Because my first guess was like Alan, but it seems very, very weird. And it's not going to be Thaddeus, because that was also another one of my guesses. But
could it be Cecil?
Why? Like, Cecil hates Viltrumites.
Yeah, like, why would he? Like, why? What would be the point?
Maybe it's Paul.
Unless he's playing both sides and like leaking information to both and like trying to get them to destroy each other.
I think it's Paul.
Fair, no, that might be some shit Cecil would do. Exactly.
Don't kill me. Your Paul agenda, please.
Me, I still think it's Alan's babe again, but hey, I don't know.
I've heard that theory before, but my thing is like so first time I heard that theory, I was like, it can't be her because she didn't feel close enough to the action. Now that she's in the ship, I'm wondering, okay, maybe it could be her, but I don't know. I just don't see it because I feel like she doesn't know enough about what's going on, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Let's recap. What has the mole done?
Mole is going to be somebody we really don't expect, honestly.
What has the mole done?
Who can it be? Unless it will be Thaddeus, or maybe Thaddeus has repented from trying to kill the Viltrumites.
Please,
And
SOS, help me.
I
What
don't
has
think
the
so.
mole done?
I think he still want them gone. I'm not gonna lie to you.
No,
Hello.
I'm really, really curious. I wonder who it's going to be. My guess at this point, I'm going to say Alan. And I think they might even reveal it now that he's on the ship with Tech Jackets and they capture them, and then suddenly she sees that they're friendly with Alan and she's like, ah. So that's my pick.
Team, please help me. What has the mole done in definitive terms?
The mole has just leaked information. That's the
Leaked
thing. We only know
information.
that there is a mole. So they just was one who said there is a mole. We don't actually
Mhm.
know exactly what the mole is leaking. We don't know what the mole has done, but
Yeah.
there is a mole.
Yeah. And by process of elimination, we know it's not Nolan. We know it's not Mark. We know it's not Oliver. Alan, I don't think he's Alan, but hey, who knows? Alan's babe, she's the strongest contender for now, but I feel like that's a
Because
false
she's the only
flag.
other character. That's
No,
the
I'm
thing.
saying,
Like she's the only
I
other
feel like
person
that's
it
a
could be.
false flag.
The ship captain, the old captain with the
I mean,
forehead.
yeah, to be
But
fair,
would we care? That's the
but
thing.
would
They've
we
been
care
building
if
up
that
this
was him? Yeah,
more
like,
reveal.
You think it's
yeah.
gonna gag us who the mole is?
That's what
I think so.
I think so. I think it's going to be somebody like we could have never seen coming, bro.
Robots.
But robots
That's
is
in
in
another
flat
dimension.
though.
Yeah, but maybe they stopped getting the leaks because he's there. Maybe he planted a bug on Mark's body, and that's how he's been getting the info. I don't trust robots. I told you guys.
You know what?
Cecil
You
has
know
nothing
what?
to gain.
Fair enough. Fair. I mean, robots is always on some shady shit, but like, why would
I'm
he
telling
want to
you,
help?
man.
But why would robots want to help the Viltrumite?
Maybe we'll find out his motivations, man. The guy's a weirdo.
Maybe
be
the
fair,
Earthings killed his people.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, it could be robot. Honestly, like robots is all like again. I always tell guys that robots is a dangerous guy, bro.
Mm-hmm.
All those guys have been thinking too much, bro. Those are dangerous guys, bro. So
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. It might be him. Those are
and
my
to be
two
fair,
picks.
he
Alan
has
or robots.
worked. And to be fair, robots has worked with villains already in the show, so it's like
True.
it's like yeah, it's not looking good for him. But it's like, bro, this is I don't know, man. I don't know. Like this is a tough one. Like this is a tough one for real.
We shall see, man. Maybe robots worship efficiency. Maybe he's a Viltrumite dick rider, man. Maybe he thinks they're so perfect. This and that. And he did some underground comms to them and say, I can help you rebuild your empire. Maybe he's currently working on a way to make Viltrumite clones even. He cloned Rex.
I have another apology to issue.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie, when the ship crashed or whatever, and Ollie and Omni-Man disappeared, I was like, oh my gosh, have they actually teamed up and betrayed everybody? So I'd like to issue another apology
for mistrusting Ollie or mistrusting Omni-Man?
For mistrusting Ollie, of course. What's my Omni-Man? for mistrusting Ollie. You know, last season I did think he could potentially be
swayed. Yeah, you did. You said he might.
Because he had some crazy takes. So, yes, I am now Team Oliver for now. Because you never know.
Looking forward to the rest of the season. Excited to keep talking about this with you guys. Just to flag again, unfortunately, this will be my last time covering Invincible this season.
No.
Bankole will take over and you get a new face in front of the camera. But Bankole will also be talking about The Boys, and Goz and Osegale will be returning to talk about The Boys, which is a superhero show also on Amazon, but a little bit of a departure from Invincible. And I think it's interesting how The Boys how somehow Invincible manages to be more depressing than The Boys. I don't know. Maybe because we like them more. The Boys are very unlikable, so it's more a shock factor thing. Whereas with Invincible, I actually feel the emotional gut punch with a lot of the things.
Also because they're kids. It's just like...
Exactly. They're also kids, right? And they're effectively good. The Boys are masters of that grey area that we're talking about. They're heroes, but they do some fucked up shit, man. Like
I can't lie, bro. In The Boys is like, can you really? Who can we really call a hero in that show? Like, I feel like everybody is just...
Annie?
It depends on the time of day, honestly.
Annie, Starlight?
Okay, Starlight. Yeah, Starlight. Yeah, I think Starlight is probably the closest. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it'll be interesting to have those shows running, and we're excited for The Boys. It's the final season. We get to see the conclusion to the Homelander saga. I'm very intrigued as to what they do there, how they finish it off with him and Billy Butcher, and their very long, convoluted storyline of revenge and I want to kill you. Okay, maybe I don't kill you now. I team
theories,
up
man.
and face
If the
Soldier
Gen
Boy.
V cast will
And
show
Soldier
up.
Boy is back. That's my should I say that? I was gonna say that's my goat. That is not my goat.
Screaming.
But I like the character. So I'm ready to have fun. And The Boys is always a fun time, right? So we'll be here from next week. The episode on Invincible and The Boys will be together, and we get to talk to
A joint episode
in one. Yes, joint episodes for the rest
Exciting.
of the season. So you get the lightness of Invincible and the lightness of The Boys.
Please.
So you get to be happy
Please
twice.
don't even trigger me. I'll beg.
The Boys is another show where I think there'll be a lot of deaths this season, man. Like, I
for
feel like a lot
sure.
of people are going to be dying. So, damn, I'm worried. Me that was complaining about not enough deaths in Invincible, I'm about to see a lot of them on.
No, but
The
The
Boys.
Boys, it's like it has to happen. This is the end.
You said you have theories. Are these for The Boys? What do you think is going to happen? Give me like your
Bro, so many, man.
Your 2-3 craziest ones.
So I think everybody's going to die besides
I'm crying.
Besides Yuri and maybe Starlight.
Fair.
I think everybody's going to die. I also think that Huey is probably going to have to kill Butcher.
Okay. I like them so far.
Or if Huey doesn't kill Butcher, then I think Ryan is either gonna.
I forgot about Ryan.
Yeah. So I think Ryan is going to kill Homelander or kill Butcher.
So funny thing, couple of parallels, right, with The Boys and Invincible is that they're effectively discussing in The Boys whether to release their own version of the Scourge virus to kill all the soups, which is interesting to me. But also the point you made about Ryan and Butcher and Homelander is also scary because Ryan is still in the balance, right? We don't know where he's going to fall in the fight for his soul. So that's potentially very intriguing. Like, is he going to go with Homelander, nature versus nurture? I would say. So has he even been nurtured well? I don't think. Okay, yeah, he did. He had 12 years with his mom. So
yeah,
I guess
so
like
the way I see like the Ryan thing is one of two ways. He has to either kill Butcher for, like, it's so many things, right? Like, there are so many permutations because either he's going to kill Butcher for like becoming evil, like, yeah, I have to kill my father figure after Butcher kills Homelander, or Ryan is actually going to kill Homelander himself, right? And or Butcher will not allow Ryan to kill Homelander, so he remains like an actual hero and stuff like bro, it's so many things. And even the Huey angle, right, is like Huey might have to kill Butcher because Butcher ends up saying he still wants to genocide the Sus, and Huey
even after
they defeat Homelander. So it's like Huey now has to decide that I have to kill Butcher. Like, there are so many ways it can go, but I know it's going to be hard to entry. Like, it's going to be very, very painful.
I'm worried for Huey, to be honest. Not in terms of his life. I think, like you, I think Huey survives the thing, but I don't know in what way does he survive. I don't know if he ends up at the end with Starlight still alive, for example. They might bookend the show with him losing a girlfriend at the start and losing one
at the end.
I also wonder his relationship with Butcher and the rest of the boys. For some weird reason, I think Kimiko survives out of the boys. I know they're going to give us Mother's Milk's death. That one, I'm very high on that. I think Mother's Milk is going to go.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. I think everybody is dying.
Frenchie is as good as Frenchie might even go in the first episode. Like, Frenchie,
I think honestly everybody is dying besides Huey, bro. Like, like, it's the final season, bro. Like, and that show is like, we know how the boys is, bro. Like, it's surprising that they've lasted this long.
They killed Victoria like that. I was shocked.
I was like, it's really surprising they've lasted this long. So it's like, I think it's just going to be Huey and Ryan left. Maybe Starlight, bro. Maybe. but
Yeah.
everybody else is gone. I think Butcher has to go, like one way or the other.
Yeah,
Like,
I think
at
he'll
this point,
die.
Butcher is so much of a wild card. Nobody even knows what he's trying to do.
I'm
They have
really,
to kill
really,
Homelander. Like, bro, if Homelander is
Yeah.
still alive, bro, like, I'll kill
I
him
really
myself.
wonder
Like,
how they
I'm
end this
killing
shit, because I
myself.
feel like the world of The Boys so far has basically been telling us a story that because of the way the world is, like capitalist society and celebrity worship, and people also having powers, this is where we'll always end up. So I don't know how they do a finale where you leave some people with powers, but because it's a mindset thing, right? It's not like
yes, sir.
they defeat Homelander now and Godolki University stops existing. There's
Yep.
still a
Yeah.
university breeding these like superiority complexed superheroes. So it is worrying because it might end up being that soup genocide.
Yeah.
It really might end up being the only way that they reset the world. But we'll see. We shall see.
I think the only reset is either the soup genocide or an actual soup. Like, and that's in the case is Ryan. Like somebody that is not controlled by bots, that is not controlled by the corporation and stuff. Like somebody that's an actual soup and doing real superhero stuff. Then he now changes, he now changes the actual ideology behind being a superhero.
Fair.
And they can
Fair,
kind of
fair.
start from the ashes because, bro, we know the fallout is going to be crazy. Especially
I don't even think Ryan
once
has
Homelander
that.
dies. Yeah, that's what I say. Like, that's just another way I'm thinking that they can potentially do it. But it's like once Homelander dies, right? Like then there's space. Like things can actually change.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, so much lightness and brightness in the Amazon Prime superhero world. It was lovely to do this with you guys. Gods of Segale, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. If you're listening at this point, please like, rate, review. Come back next week. We'll be discussing episode 6 of Invincible and episode 1 and 2 of The Boys. Barkley will be your host. And please support the podcast where you can. Tell your friends, tell an enemy. And guys, it's time for war.
It's low-key crazy because it's actually giving war right now, but that's a story for another day.
Hey, listen. Hey, what I said was, please, it's strictly in the context of TV. Please, please. Please, please.
Farewell to the hotties.